Have you ever felt excessive worry or fear that seems to take over your life? Today we're here to discuss a topic that affects many people worldwide, anxiety disorders. These encompass a range of conditions, each with its unique characteristics. Join us as we explore 10 types of anxiety disorders. First up, we have Generalized Anxiety Disorder, often referred to as GAD. This disorder is characterized by an excessive amount of worry and anxiety about various aspects of life. You name it: work, health, relationships, finances. Individuals with GAD can find it hard to control their worry about these and more. Imagine being in a state where your mind is constantly filled with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. This form of anxiety isn't just about being a worrywart. It's an incessant, excessive worry that's hard to stop, even when you try to relax or distract yourself. Moreover, this worry isn't fleeting, it's persistent. It stays often for 6 months or longer, turning everyday scenarios into sources of anxiety. And this is why GAD is more than just worrying. It's a serious condition that can significantly interfere with daily functioning, making it a serious condition that requires attention. Next, we delve into panic disorder. This type of anxiety disorder is characterized by recurrent, unexpected panic attacks. These sudden episodes of intense fear or discomfort can envelop a person like a wave, often without any clear trigger. Physical symptoms can be overwhelming, including a rapid heartbeat, sweating, trembling, and shortness of breath. It may feel as though you're having a heart attack or that you're losing control. These attacks can occur at any time or place, creating an undercurrent of persistent worry about when the next one will strike. This constant concern can lead to changes in behavior and routines in an attempt to avoid potential triggers of panic attacks. It's not uncommon for individuals with panic disorder to avoid certain places or situations they associate with past attacks. Panic disorder can be quite debilitating, limiting individuals' ability to lead a normal life. Moving on, let's talk about social anxiety disorder. This disorder is characterized by an intense fear of social situations. Imagine the thought of being scrutinized or judged by others becoming so overwhelming that it causes significant distress. This isn't about being shy or introverted. It's a fear that's often out of proportion to the situation. People with social anxiety disorder might dread everyday activities like meeting strangers, speaking in groups, or even just eating in front of others. The fear is so intense that it can interfere with work, school, and other ordinary situations, causing the individual to avoid them altogether. The distress associated with this disorder can be so debilitating that it can make forming and maintaining relationships extremely challenging. It's not just about feeling uncomfortable or nervous in social situations. It's about experiencing intense fear and anxiety that can disrupt daily life. Social anxiety disorder can be a significant hurdle in forming and maintaining relationships. Now let's discuss a disorder that many of us might identify with to some extent: specific phobia. This disorder is characterized by an intense and irrational fear of a particular object, situation, or activity. The fear is so strong that individuals with specific phobia often go to great lengths to avoid the feared object or situation. For instance, a person with a phobia of heights might avoid jobs that require working in tall buildings or even climbing a ladder. Someone with a fear of spiders may refuse to enter a room until it has been thoroughly checked for the presence of these 8-legged creatures. A fear of flying might limit someone's ability to travel, affecting their personal or professional lives. These fears can seem irrational to others, but for the person suffering, they are very real and distressing. It's not just about being scared, it's a genuine, severe anxiety disorder that can disrupt lives. While it may seem trivial to some, specific phobia can greatly impact a person's lifestyle. Next on our list is agoraphobia. This anxiety disorder revolves around the fear and avoidance of situations where escape might be difficult or where help might not be available, especially when panic attacks or distressing symptoms occur. This fear can be so overwhelming that it leads to avoidance behavior. Imagine the world outside your comfort zone becoming a threatening place. Everyday locations such as crowded areas, public transportation, or even stepping outside the home alone can trigger intense fear. This fear is not about the places themselves, but about the perceived lack of control or inability to escape if needed. The fear can be so profound that it restricts individuals to their comfort zones, often within the confines of their own home. This is the reality for those living with agoraphobia. Agoraphobia can be a restricting disorder, limiting individuals to their comfort zones. Now let's delve into separation anxiety disorder. This disorder is often recognized in children, but it's important to note that adults can suffer from it as well. It's characterized by an excessive fear or anxiety about being separated from those we're deeply attached to, such as parents, caregivers, or even close friends. Those with separation anxiety disorder may constantly worry about potential harm befalling their loved ones when they're apart. This intense fear can significantly interfere with daily life. It may lead to avoidance of situations that require separation, such as going to school or work, attending social events, or even simply sleeping in a separate room. It's not just about the physical absence of a loved one, but also the emotional disconnection that can trigger anxiety. Treatment options are available, and they often include cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps individuals challenge and change thought patterns that lead to harmful behaviors or feelings of distress. Separation anxiety disorder can be particularly distressing for both the individual and their loved ones. Next, we have a disorder that primarily affects children, selective mutism. This condition is marked by a child's consistent failure to speak in certain social situations where there's an expectation to communicate. For example, a child with selective mutism might be perfectly capable of chatting at home with family, but become mute at school or during social events. It's not that they don't want to talk, but rather they find themselves unable to speak due to extreme anxiety. This condition is more than just shyness. It's a complex childhood anxiety disorder that prevents children from expressing themselves in ways they'd like. It's worth noting that selective mutism often occurs alongside other anxiety disorders, particularly social anxiety disorder. This coexistence can make the condition even more challenging to manage and overcome. Selective mutism often coexists with social anxiety disorder, adding to the complexity of the condition. Now we move to substance/medication-induced anxiety disorder. This is a type of anxiety disorder that is directly linked to the use or withdrawal of substances, which can range from alcohol and recreational drugs to prescribed medications. The anxiety symptoms that arise from substance use or withdrawal can be quite intense and distressing. These symptoms can manifest in a variety of ways, including excessive worry, restlessness, and physical symptoms such as rapid heartbeat and shortness of breath. One of the key characteristics of this disorder is that the anxiety symptoms can mimic those of other anxiety disorders, making it sometimes difficult to diagnose accurately. Moreover, the anxiety symptoms may persist even after the acute effects of the substance have worn off, potentially leading to long-term distress and impairment. This form of anxiety disorder can mimic other types and may persist beyond the acute effects of the substance. Next, we discuss general medical condition-induced anxiety disorder. This particular disorder arises when anxiety symptoms are a direct result of a physical health condition. Imagine your body acting as a catalyst, sparking off feelings of unease and stress. This might seem perplexing, but the connection between physical and mental health is deeply intertwined. For instance, conditions such as thyroid disorders, cardiovascular disease, or neurological conditions can trigger anxiety symptoms. It's like your body is sounding an alarm, with anxiety being the distress signal. The heart races, palms sweat, breath quickens, mirroring the symptoms of other anxiety disorders. But here's the silver lining. When the medical condition at the root of the problem is treated, these anxiety symptoms often decrease or disappear entirely. It's like turning off the distress signal. So understanding the root cause can be a game changer in managing this type of anxiety. Treatment of the underlying medical condition can often alleviate these symptoms. Finally, we cover other specified and unspecified anxiety disorders. These categories serve as a catch-all for anxiety symptoms that don't fit neatly into the criteria for specific disorders, yet they still cause significant distress or impairment in a person's life. Examples include situational anxiety disorder, a condition characterized by anxiety specific to certain situations or triggers. Another example is mixed anxiety depressive disorder, where an individual experiences symptoms of both anxiety and depression. It's important to note that while these disorders may not have a specific label, they are just as real and impactful as other forms of anxiety. They highlight the complexity and diversity of human mental health, reminding us that everyone's experience with anxiety is unique. Proper diagnosis and treatment are crucial for managing these conditions and improving quality of life. These less defined anxiety disorders remind us of the complexity and diversity of human mental health. We hope that this video has given you a better understanding of the types of anxiety disorders. Recognizing and addressing these conditions is crucial for mental health. Please share your thoughts in the comments section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative content.